Far beyond the tallest mountains, above the clouds, there existed a magical place few people knew about. It was called the secret library above the clouds. This was no ordinary library. The books could talk, the shelves could move, and every book contained a real adventure. The keeper of the library was Professor Hoot. He loved children who were curious. One bright morning, he looked through his golden telescope. Far below, he spotted a curious boy named Leo. Leo loved asking questions. Why do fish breathe underwater? How do airplanes fly? Why does the moon change shape? Little did Leo know, his greatest adventure was about to begin. One quiet afternoon, Leo sat beneath his favorite mango tree. Suddenly, something strange drifted down from the sky. A beautiful golden feather floated toward him. It landed softly in Leo's hands. Tied to the feather was a tiny scroll. Curiously, Leo opened the scroll. The message revealed a mysterious invitation. You're invited to the secret library above the clouds. Leo could hardly believe what he was reading. Then the feather suddenly began to glow even brighter. The ground gently trembled beneath his feet. Clouds began gathering overhead. Something incredible was happening. A staircase made entirely of clouds appeared. The staircase stretched higher than Leo could see. Taking a deep breath, Leo stepped onto the very first cloud. Leo carefully climbed the cloud staircase. With every step, he rose higher into the sky. Soon, his village looked no bigger than a toy town. The rivers looked like shining silver ribbons. The forests looked like tiny patches of green velvet. As he climbed, a cheerful bluebird fluttered beside him. "Hello there," chirped the little bird. "First time visiting the secret library." Leo nodded excitedly. "Then you're in for the adventure of a lifetime," said the bird. Suddenly, Leo saw something extraordinary. Rainbow waterfalls flowed between the clouds. Nearby, giant flying turtles drifted peacefully through the sky. And glowing butterflies danced through the air like tiny stars. Then, through the clouds, Leo finally saw it. The secret library above the clouds. The cloud staircase finally reached the floating island. He stood still, amazed by what he saw. The island seemed to float among the stars. Colorful flowers sparkled along the pathways. Friendly animals wandered peacefully through the gardens. But one building stood above all the others. The secret library was even more magnificent up close. Above the entrance were shining golden words. "Knowledge is the greatest adventure." As Leo approached, the giant doors slowly opened. A warm voice greeted him. "Welcome, Leo." Leo blinked in surprise. "You know my name?" Professor Hoot adjusted his glasses and smiled. "We have been expecting you, young explorer." Together, they stepped inside the most magical library in the world. Leo stepped into the library and gasped. The library seemed larger on the inside than on the outside. Books floated gently through the air. Some books even greeted visitors. "Good afternoon, Leo," one book cheerfully said. Leo could hardly believe his eyes. Then he noticed something even stranger. The bookshelves were moving by themselves. "The library changes itself every day," explained Professor Hoot. At the center of the library stood a grand circular doorway. "This is the Hall of Questions," said Professor Hoot. Leo stepped inside and froze in amazement. In the center stood a crystal fountain unlike anything he had ever seen. But water wasn't flowing from the fountain. Questions flowed from it instead. Leo watched as hundreds of glowing questions floated through the hall. Every question shimmered with its own special light. Some questions were small, and some were as large as elephants. Suddenly, one question began moving toward him. It glowed brighter and brighter as it came closer. Then magical words appeared. What happens when you stop being curious? Leo paused to think. He remembered all the questions he loved to ask. Then he finally knew the answer. When you stop being curious, you stop learning. The entire hall suddenly sparkled with golden light. Professor Hoot smiled proudly. The glowing question transformed into a golden key. The golden key floated gently above Leo's hands. Suddenly, the key began flying across the hall. "Quickly," said Professor Hoot. "Follow the key." Leo hurried after it. The key stopped in front of a blank wall. At first, there seemed to be nothing there, but then the wall began to glow. Golden lines appeared like a giant puzzle. Slowly, a hidden door emerged. The golden key flew straight into the lock. With a deep rumble, the door opened. Beyond the doorway was another hidden chamber. It was called the Adventure Book Chamber. In the center stood one enormous book. Across its cover were shining golden words, "The Great Ocean Adventure." Young Leo stepped closer to the giant book. The book suddenly began to shake. Then it slowly opened by itself. A wave of sparkling ocean magic burst from the pages. Before he could react, Leo was pulled inside. Everything spun around him. Then suddenly, everything became calm. Leo opened his eyes and gasped. He was beneath the ocean. Colorful fish darted through the water. Giant coral reefs stretched as far as he could see. A friendly voice suddenly called out, "Welcome to the ocean, traveler." A dolphin named Dazzle swam toward him. "I'm Dazzle, your ocean guide." Dazzle smiled and began showing Leo around the ocean. "The ocean is full of amazing secrets," said Dazzle. Suddenly, a large school of fish swam overhead. "How do fish breathe underwater?" Leo asked. Dazzle led him closer to a brightly colored fish. "Fish use gills to take oxygen from the water," explained Dazzle. Leo was amazed by what he learned. As they continued swimming, they met a clever octopus. The octopus changed colors right before their eyes. "Octopuses can change color to hide from danger," explained Dazzle. A deep song echoed through the water. Far away, a giant whale appeared. "Whales use songs to communicate across great distances," said Dazzle. Leo couldn't believe how incredible the ocean was. But then something caught his attention. Leo looked toward the distance and saw something moving. "Dazzle, what is that?" Leo asked. Dazzle's smile disappeared. "Oh no," whispered Dazzle. They quickly swam closer. A young sea turtle was trapped in a tangled fishing net. The little turtle struggled to break free. "Don't worry," Leo called. "We're here to help." The turtle looked scared but hopeful. Leo remembered something he had learned. "If we work together, we can solve this problem," he said. Dazzle carefully pulled one side of the net. Leo worked on loosening the tangled ropes. Slowly, the net began coming apart. With one final pull, the turtle was free. The little turtle swam in a happy circle around Leo and Dazzle. "Thank you for helping me," said the turtle. Leo smiled warmly. "We're glad you're safe," he replied. The turtle's eyes suddenly began to glow. Something magical was happening. a shining pearl appeared from the ocean floor. It floated gently toward Leo. "This is the pearl of kindness," said the turtle. "It is given to those who help others." Leo carefully held the glowing pearl. Suddenly, the pearl showed him something important. He saw people helping one another. He understood that knowledge becomes powerful when it helps others. Just then, the ocean around them began to sparkle with magical light. The pearl of kindness began glowing brighter and brighter. The ocean around Leo shimmered with magical energy. Dazzle smiled knowingly. "I think it's time for you to go home, my friend." Leo felt both happy and a little sad. "Thank you for everything, Dazzle," he said. The pearl of kindness rose into the water above him. It opened a swirling doorway made of light. Warm light surrounded Leo. The ocean slowly faded away. When Leo opened his eyes again, he was back inside the library. Professor Hoot was waiting with a proud smile. "You have done very well, young explorer," said Professor Hoot. "You learned, you asked questions, and you helped others." The giant book gently closed behind them. And Leo realized that every question, every lesson, and every act of kindness was part of the greatest adventure of all, learning. And remember, tiny minds, every question you ask opens a new door to adventure. If you enjoyed Leo's adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Tiny Minds Academy for more magical learning adventures.